Like literally, she's sitting on a swing, and Changshan's just staring at her swinging, and then this music plays for 5 minutes, and you're like, I don't need a scene of her swinging for 5 minutes. Like with the red trees.
Hi, this is Juniper.
Hi, this is Elle.
Welcome to another episode of our podcast. And we continue our streak, I think, on Chinese dramas. Today we're going to talk about Lost You Forever Season 1, which is very delayed in that this came out last year, like a whole year ago. And we waited till now after Season 2 just aired and finished airing, I think, recently in China to talk about it. So let's dive right in. Why did we wait so long, and why did we suddenly decide to watch it now?
Well, for me, it was just definitely to wait until Season 2 aired because I didn't know if it was going to be held up. And if it was held up, then I didn't want to be stuck on a cliffhanger. But
all
actually,
very
I had
good reasons.
Yeah, but I actually had read the book a decade ago, the translation for it. So I actually was looking forward to seeing it. I didn't know they were adapting it until the trailer had come out last year. So, and the first season is pretty hefty with 39 episodes. So, that's why I waited.
So you're a book fan, it sounds like, and you had anticipation for the show.
Yes.
Like you wanted to watch it.
I did want to watch it. Yeah. And when I saw the stills, I was like, this is not how I pictured it, but
so let's go there. So my reason for watching was because you told me to. No, you said you were gonna watch it. I was like, fine, I will watch it too. And so you can tell, right? Like I wasn't exactly like gung-ho about watching it. I didn't really pay a lot of attention. I knew it was a mega hit when season 1 came out last year. At the time, I think I was watching like Mysterious Lotus Casebook and stuff like that. And I had no interest in watching this because, well, the stills didn't get me. Let's just put it that way. It looks kind of bad. There's that yellowish tinge to it, right? Like everything looks kind of like odd and like kind of like, I know it's a high budget Tencent production, but it looks like eh. And honestly, I have nothing against Yang, but obviously I do because I'm about to say this, which is I was a little bit afraid of watching anything that's a costume drama with her. And I think it's because of like I've said this before. Like I feel like Ashes of Love sets the tone for her type of dramas. She seems to always play these like big female lead IPs where it's all about the female lead all the time, and they're supposed to go through so much trials and tribulations, and it's all about love and pining and love and pining. And let's face it, 99% of Chinese like costume dramas are about love and pining, but she takes it to a weird level, and I don't know if it's her or the character she like the stories she picks. So speaking of the story, that was another reason I was very hesitant to engage once you told me who wrote this. Because I'm pretty sure you said, oh, it's by the same author as Scarlet Heart. Well, I watched the Scarlet Heart, and I get why people liked it, and I didn't dislike it, but my God, it has one of the most unlikable female leads ever.
So after reading a few of the author's name is Tonghua. I'm saying it wrong, but Tonghua.
Yeah, Tonghua. Yeah.
So she started, Scarlet Heart was her first novel, I think. And then she's written other things. But I think thematically, at least if you compare directly Scarlet Heart to Lost You Forever, it's like one girl surrounded by lots of eligible bachelors.
Right. There's so many similarities.
Yeah, like the setup is different, but the story is similar. And what did you call it? The Chinese Bachelorette? The ancient.
Well, that's what the show became. But we're maybe getting ahead of ourselves, right? Like she likes reverse harems, and I have nothing against reverse harems. It's like a female fantasy, right?
I didn't think of it like that. Yeah,
but that's what the people call it. But the problem with it is it's more like it's not an interesting reverse harem the way it's executed, both in Scarlet Heart and here. But, before people think that I really hated the show, that's actually not true. I finished the whole 39 episodes. right? And I have very mixed feelings about it. So before we dive into talking about our feelings of multi-layer feelings, probably more layered than any of the characters in the freaking show, except for you know who, let's maybe talk about what the show is about. I'll give my maybe very cheeky synopsis. So, from my perspective, the story of Lost You Forever, which is called 长相思 in Chinese, which totally is not Lost You Forever, by the way. It stands in my mind for everlasting longing, if I translated it. But apparently there's another show coming up with Angela Baby and Song Wei-long named Everlasting Longing. So let's not confuse them.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
So anyways, the story of Lost You Forever is about a princess who is lost and then found again, and her entanglements with 3.5 men in her life. I say half because 3 are primary movers and shakers in her story, and then there is kind of an ancillary 4th guy who joins the fray. The story takes place in mythical settings, so there are humans, long-lived or lived, I guess, immortals, and demons who are animal spirits. Our female lead is a princess named Xiao Yao, whom we and the male leads first meet as a male doctor, like truly male. She's not just pretending to be male because she can change her form, right? As a male doctor named Xiao Liu. So she is an immortal, and her suitors are a mixed bag of immortals and demon. Anything you would like to add to that?
Nope. I think that's perfect for the setup. Yeah.
So you agree it's 3.5 men, right?
I do, because I was telling you when I was watching it. So when I read the book, I think I was up until like chapter 15 or whatever, but I didn't get to the part where there was this 4th guy. So when I was watching it, I'm like, is he in the novel? So I actually will have to catch up and read the novel to see if he comes later on. But when I read it, it was just 3 guys. And I think even in the novel description, they only ever mention 3 men. So I don't know if he was created for the drama. But I will tell you, when I first saw the stills of this drama, the reason I was not like 100% excited is that in the novel, the man, when she's a male doctor, he's described as like this unkept, sloven, dirty kind of, just doesn't care about hygiene. So you're picturing like this very dirty, like messed up middle-aged man. And actually Yang Zi, in an interview, said when she read the script, that's what she pictured, like a middle-aged man. So when I saw the stills, I'm like, she looks like a 50-year-old boy. Like, they didn't even give her like
as a man.
She looks cute, yeah, but she like I wish they did. Do you remember in Word of Honor when Zhang Zhahan, is that his name?
Yeah. When he was scruffy at the
when
beginning.
He was, when he was
like
when he was the wanderer. That's what I pictured. And I wish they kind of did that for her, but I understand because there are actually some kissing scenes when she's a male. So
yes, I think the men fall in love with her as a man.
As a man.
Know or suspect she's actually a woman, but for all intents and purposes, it's not like she's a woman, like I said, binding her breasts, pretending to be a man.
Yeah, she's physically a man.
Yes, who is middle-aged in the book. So so imagine though if she had like, you know, mustachios and stuff and was dirty as heck and you
she had stubble and no eyeliner, you know. Yeah, so anyways, I was like already adaptation wise, I'm like, this is not as realistic as I would have liked. I mean, I understand why they did it that way. I mean, I even would have preferred that they cast a man playing the role, but they did not for probably censorship reasons. But yeah, so she had to play a guy, and I actually enjoy, though, surprisingly, her performance as Xiao Liu. Like, I thought she was actually likable as this goofy doctor.
So I think we're segueing into how we actually feel after now finishing all 39 episodes of season 1, right?
Yeah.
So you're starting to say you like the first arc with the village, the Clearwater village, when they all first meet. What's your overall sentiment about season 1?
Well, okay.
However you want to approach it.
All right. So I will say the first. I know you have much stronger feelings than I do. The first arc in the village is the best. We and I both agreed, because I think if you want to talk about originality, it was original, right? For her to like for the two guys to actually fall in love with her, I mean, they kind of know she's a woman in disguise, but they physically still have to like look at a man, and they didn't know what her true look would be, right? So they could be. She even said in the drama, she's like, I could be a really ugly girl, and that's okay because I want to
She
be.
doesn't
the
even
real
know what
me.
she looks like.
Yeah, she doesn't know her own face, her
She
real
forgot
face. So,
what she looked like because she was a kid when it happened.
yeah. So like it was very interesting because you had two men who like really fell in love with her spirit, like her personality, not because of what she looked like, right? Regardless of genders, and then which was kind of interesting. But then once they leave the village, and then you start getting into the political strife, and then when she reveals her true self, and then you have the men almost like at her feet, like they're just like in love,
It's
so
all
in
about her.
love.
This is what I meant about Bachelorette, China, ancient China edition. Yeah, sorry. So I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's true because okay, I think the way I said it to you was I was like, well, it's like the author wrote it as is a man of every flavor, right? And you get to if you're her, you get to like kind of pick the guy you like. But at the same time, I guess like in most romances, it's the one guy who can be all of that, if you know what I mean. Because the way that I read, like how people broke it down, and even how when I was reading the novel, is like one of the characters is obviously her soulmate. Like she has like the deepest conversations with him. But she's like, I can never be with him. And then there's the other guy who's like puppy love, you know, like his heart on his sleeve kind of thing. And then so there's a lot of fans for that. And then there's the loyal guy, the guy who's really there for her no matter what, but she doesn't think of him romantically. So in the ideal
that's
world,
not
she
the
would
same
be
thing as her soulmate, because I'm pretty sure if I believe we are thinking about the same soulmate.
Oh, okay. Well, no,
he's
because
there for her.
He's there for her, but he also has
his own
ambitions.
agenda.
Yeah, he has an agenda.
They all have agendas. His path is not the same as hers. I mean, I'm assuming. You know what? Let's just talk about that. Let me finish. Sorry. Are you good with your district?
No, I'm good. Yes.
So you liked season 1 or no? I guess overall.
I mean, if you want me to give you a rating now, I can give you a rating.
No, I don't need. Well, yeah, give a rating. Give a rating.
I would give it like a 7.3.
Okay. That's fair. I actually would agree with that rating wise. It's around a 7.75, somewhere in between.
Yeah.
I liked the first arc a lot. Up to episode 15, 16, it was great. In fact, I think you started it first, and I was like, okay, dragging my feet. I'll go watch it. I think at some point I surpassed you because I was like, oh, this is really good. I'm going to watch more. And then they exit the village. I'm like, okay. It was all good until episode 20, I think. Like literally the first half of the show is good. But if I only judged the first half of the show, I would give it like an 8 or 8.5 even. Up to 8.5.
Yeah.
And then it's like they all had like brain and personality transplants, except for one or two people.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to her character, okay? I was like, how did she become so uninteresting and unlikable? It's like Scarlet Heart with the girl was pretty consistent. Xiao Yao is not consistent. So when she reclaimed her position as royal princess, right? She became a completely different person. And for me, an extremely unlikable person. And the story, there was no story. It was like, I think at some point I texted you, I said, oh my God, it feels like I'm watching some woman trying to choose which outfit to wear in the morning, except it's going to take 25 episodes for her to decide.
So I would concur that her personality, for some reason, it changed when she became female. And it didn't seem realistic.
Did she get a hormone injection?
It didn't seem realistic because even though she was a princess as a child, it's not like she was like taken from the wolves as an infant, right? She remembers palace life, but like she was basically out on her own. They say they searched for her for 300 years, so she was on her own, like a person who lived without rules, without etiquette, who didn't care about those manners, and so suddenly she's like, they say, oh, she needs to be taught again on how to be refined, but personality wise, you would think she's still the same, and she lost that charm, like the goofiness that you liked when she was like the little male doctor. Like then she became like this very serious princess, and
it's not the seriousness that killed her character for me. It's just kind of her motivations and how she treats people and approaches
Yeah.
life. It was
Yeah.
about love all the time and only about her selfish love needs.
Yes.
And it wasn't even about love because the way she talks about love, it's actually not love as I would understand it. It's security blanket. It's insecurity and neediness. Oh, actually, that reminds me. Episode 1 almost drove me away because it wasn't bad, but I was like, oh my God, what is wrong with these adults? Like, they're okay, so I get it. Maybe the author is trying to make a point about the scarring of children by the adults, right? Their parents. That's kind of the impetus for the so-called setting things in motion the way they have transpired in the story so far, and probably will continue to, and how she became the way she is. But to our your point and my point earlier is, if she was really that person underneath all this time, why was she so different and likable and fun and carefree as Wen Xiaolou? You know what I mean?
Yes. Oh,
like,
yeah. So
in this story,
to...
they act like you can change your name and pretend to be someone else, and it is okay. I mean, there's a lot of duality, right? Like, let's talk about the characters. Okay, very quickly. Xiao Yao is the central female lead.
Yeah.
She is a princess. That's Xiao Yao. But when she first is the man, her name's Wen Xiaolou, right? The first man she meets is called Tushan Jing, who's the scion of a very, very rich, powerful family. And their heritage are nine-tailed foxes. So he's a fox spirit, right? Except when she meets him, he had been completely beaten up, tortured for years by his older brother, right? Who has a vendetta against him. And he's like a useless shell. And she heals him, right? And she gives him a different name because he was nameless. He didn't reveal who he was. Right. And she called him Ye Shiqi, right? So the whole story, throughout the story, they talk about how he wishes he was still Ye Shiqi and she was still Wen Xiaolou and they can live the simple life in the village. So that's the first man. Second guy she meets is Xiang Liu, who is the 9-headed demon sea monster snake, right?
Yeah.
Who is the military advisor of the formerly powerful but now annihilated enemy kingdom, right? Chenrong, I think it's called the kingdom, right? She's from Haoling. He's from Chenrong. Who she meets, and they have like a very
love hate.
Well, yes, he like whips her like. And
he's not very nice when they first meet. Yeah. No. But he already knew she might be female when he first met her because she sang a song to lure like a mythical creature out, and then he said only the song of a woman can, because of the sorrow in their voice, can like attract that animal. So he was already like, you're not a dude. But he doesn't out her right away. Yeah.
No, he doesn't. And then he drinks her blood once he realizes that her blood is like powerful elixir, has healing powers for him. And then he makes her like his kind of like his follower, his tool.
Yeah, like a servant.
His servant, kind of like his Renfield in some ways, right? To do things for him and then heal him when he needs to, and also give him poison. Because he gets more powerful through poison. So she's always trying to poison him, which sounds kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. No, it's actually funny because in the novel, like they actually describe like when she makes him poison, like she's cursing him. She really wants to kill him. And then meanwhile, he's like, oh, make me more poison, because he's trying to build tolerance towards, I think, the poison. That's why he ingests it. And so they have this weird relationship where he even says, like, I'm the only person in the world who can appreciate your culinary skills. Because who else can, like, eat the poison and live, right? Because they're very lethal. Yeah.
Okay, so third guy is Changquan, who's from the kingdom of Xi'an. And he is the grandson of the current king of Xi'an. And in fact, he's a cousin, right? A maternal cousin of Xiao Yao's. Yeah. So they were best buds as kids. They got separated when the parents went to shits. He's been looking for her ever since she got lost, right? I don't know how you lose a child, but they managed to do so. So,
well, she ran off, yeah.
Right. So he's the third male lead. And then there's a fourth, like I said, like an ancillary fourth who comes much later, who is a friend of, I think, Tushan Jing. And well, he's actually from a powerful family, right? And his name is was it 赤水 Fenglong? Fenglong, we'll just call him Fenglong. And I mean, other than he's a really, really lovely jock, I'm not sure how else to describe him.
He's a little doofy, just a little bit.
He's very straight and direct, though. I think he's very
not I know you think he's adorable. He's also the least. He's not multi-layered. Let's put it that way.
No,
you see what you get. Yeah, you see what you get. You get what you see.
He's the most normal person, healthiest person.
Yes, he probably is the most emotionally healthy person. But because, you know, you alluded to it. All the characters, the four main characters, all had like crappy childhoods, teetering on abusive childhoods, with lots of trauma built into. So they are all very broken people.
Yes.
Yeah.
But so how do we feel about the characters then? I think you were who is the soulmate?
Who I think it's the 9-headed demon. Is the soulmate. Yeah. And the loyal guy I was talking about is the cousin. And then the heart on his sleeves is Tushan Jing. Who when I watched it, so I actually disliked him in the novel. I told you that when I was reading it. Like
Tushan Jing.
Yeah, Tushan Jing. He is as clingy written as he is in the drama. Like he is really like relentlessly puppy dog.
He's so annoying. Okay, you know what? I'll say all the actors who play the guys are gorgeous.
Yes.
Right? So it's not that the actors are miscast. I actually think the casting is pretty good, except for Yang, and here's why. She was well cast for the doctor's scenes. But I think the minute she became princess, I actually had a hard time watching her because she seemed off. Like the way they made her up and the way she's trying to act like an impetuous young girl now, except she is not. She's like, you know what I mean? Like she doesn't give off that vibe anymore. And they put too much makeup on her.
I didn't like her hairstyle.
Yeah, it was so
made her
weird.
face look very round, like an egg.
Yeah.
Like she looked like an egg.
Like puffy.
And no offense. Yeah. And she like I think you and I talk like she's not unattractive. Like
no, she's pretty. She can be cute, but I do think that she's gotta maybe stop playing some of these roles sometimes.
I mean you could argue she's still too old to play an ingenue,
but
which
the problem is all the men are like that same age, and in fact Xiang Liu, Tanjianci, the actor who plays him, is older than her.
Yeah. But he's okay because he's like an ancient demon. Like
that's true.
You want an older guy to play that character. I think for me when I watched it, I felt like I actually don't mind Yangzi. Like I like her. I've seen her other dramas. I think my issue here is when she is princess, she doesn't emote very much. It's like her facial
cold, stone faced. Like
yes.
It's almost like she's dead. Like her heart is dead inside. She doesn't care what happens to her. She just wants to settle for something. And she's so dead set on settling for Tushan Jing.
Yes.
She says, by the way, she loves him. Have you noticed that?
No. She says I like you. She goes, 我喜欢你. She does say that.
Yes, but when she's talking about him to other people, especially when I think to her family, like Tangshuan, her cousin, right, who secretly loves her, except she's clueless. I think she doesn't know Tangshuan likes her. I think she knows that Xiang Liu likes her, right?
I don't think she knows Xiang Liu likes her.
No?
No. I think she knows. I think she secretly likes him, but she won't allow herself to like him. And you know that scene? Okay, we're jumping ahead, but you know in the scene when they're in the ocean at like episode 37 when they're like having a date basically, and he's about to kiss her, but she's like ready for him to kiss her.
She wants him to kiss her.
She wants him to make the move, but then when I don't know what happened to him. Like he like chickened out.
Well, he's holding off. Yeah.
So like, and then she doesn't. I don't know. I feel like I can go into a whole thing about her feelings versus his. Like I always felt she likes him the most. I always felt because like you know the mirror, like she has this magic mirror that can like record the past. Like he's the only one she bothered recording, even though it was like something because she did something embarrassing to him, and so she wanted to like tackle to herself and have the memory so she can laugh about it. But she also like took a memory of him when he was just being like cool, and she kept. Yeah, those they show that in the drama. There are two images of him that she kept in the mirror, but she never did that with Tushan Jing or anyone else, right? And then even her father was like, "Oh, like the king, the emperor, whatever," was like,
"Oh, like who's that?" When she was looking at
who's
it, right?
that? Yeah, like she didn't even.
Is this a boy you like?
Yeah, she didn't erase it. So I always felt she liked him the most, but Tushan Jing was like the insurance, the one that is like, I'm here. He's verbally saying, I'm here and I'm going to do all this stuff to be with you. Versus Xiang Liu is not, he's not guaranteeing anything. So she's like, well, you're not even human or a deity, you're a demon. So she's like, I'm not putting my eggs in that basket.
Unless he puts out, basically.
Yeah.
Is what
so she did not want to lose this. So she's like, oh, I'm not going to open my heart to you because you're not guaranteed. But this other guy's a guarantee, and he's time and time again telling me he's a guarantee. Which is why I have a hard time with it. This is not true love, you know?
No, it's really called settling, and settling for a really bad choice in my book. So I actually thought Tushan Jing was okay in the first arc, right? And I even said that to you, I think, when I texted you and say, oh, finally, Deng Wei is not a complete piece of pretty wood in this show. I spoke too soon.
Yeah, he was in the till the end of the moon.
Till the end of the moon or something like that, right? And here I'm like, oh, okay. I actually felt like some pangs of puppy love, like, oh, in that first village scene when he was like, you could tell he was really like nervous about her. But what did I say? I was like, oh, poor Tushan Jing. He is like the Uber pickup drop-off service for Wen Xiaoliu's dates with Xiang Liu.
Yeah. He always had to like, oh, she's leaving for that with the demon. And he can't do anything to stop her.
And he would just wait. It'd be like, I was like, yeah, wait, man. Just be manly and wait. So at that juncture early on, I thought it was kind of still cute, right? Two guys kind of like, hey, let's like fight over the girl, right? Except they're not really fighting, they're just being like macho men.
Yeah.
Then they get back to the real world and he got worse.
Tushan Jing, yeah.
Yeah. I was like,
well,
oh my god, how mopey and how many, like I was like, I don't want to watch him cry for the 30th time. Could we just not have any more tears?
Yeah. I think the issue, okay, so we could talk about why girls like him versus why you and I maybe don't like him, maybe because we're not girls ourselves, but I mean, we're not young girls who've never experienced love.
Thanks.
Or
we're old hags. Yes. Let's be clear. We're old hags.
Speak for yourself. We're more experienced. I would say if you've never experienced love, Tushan Jing is like the dreamy boyfriend, right? Because they paint him as he's the guy who knows all the fine art. He's eloquent. He's handsome.
So clingy and so unexciting.
He's rich. Let's put it that way. Right? He's rich, right?
He's boring as shit.
He is boring. But like on paper, he's like the perfect guy, right? He comes from one of the most.
Also, he doesn't even know how to speak. It's like every other word is like yes. Okay, how?
So they say in the novel, I think they might have used it in the drama. They say that before he was tortured by his brother, he was actually
a different man.
Yeah, he was very witty and he could talk a lot. Yeah. He's a broken man, and so she, part of it is kind of sad because he's so insecure with himself. He's like, she's the only one that will see me as a real man, right? That's why he.
I said this to you. I said this is like a codependency. I may be misusing the word because in psychology that's maybe not what codependency means.
Mm-hmm.
But they're like stuck together because like magnets, not because what I consider romantic, healthy love. It's a neediness to feel less incomplete.
Yeah.
Him, because to your point, he doesn't feel like a person anymore, and she's the only one who would treat him nice, right? And he even said that, oh, she's the only one who had a reaction to me as a man. I'm like, oh, okay.
Like she blushed.
And then she talks about him every time, like I was saying earlier, I didn't finish the thought, was oh, I need someone who will stay with me forever and never abandon me. Therefore, it's Tushan Jing. It's not,
Yeah.
I need someone who I cannot live without and love, unconditionally. It's someone who will be with me unconditionally and stay with me forever. And not necessarily love, right?
Yeah.
That is effed up.
Yeah. No, she, in some ways, if you think about it, she's incapable of love.
Yeah, she's actually a really cold person.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like her too.
Yeah, she does say she's herself is heartless, but I felt like she said that in the beginning as a security thing. But the longer you watch, the more you realize she is really incapable of love.
She's actually very, very manipulative, and so is Tushan Jing, the two of them. So they actually deserve each other in some ways.
Yeah.
So yes,
I mean, yeah. If they feel complete with the other person, I mean, that's all you really need, right? You don't need more than that. But I think if you bring in the other two guys or 2.5 men into the fold, the person that everyone feels sorry for, well, okay, not everyone, I would say 50% of people who love Xiang Liu will be like, he bet on the wrong horse, right? Like he put everything in. He put his heart in,
why
literally
his her. That's the part I didn't understand. Other than the fact that I think he mistakenly thought she was a kindred soul. Now, mind you, she was very fun and kind of, to be with him, right? They did banter back and forth. He, like you said before, I think, right? He's the only one she is herself with and banters comfortably with. And even actually later when it got really draggy and I was like, oh my god, did she have a personality transplant? The moments she was with him or his alter ego, was it Feng Bei, right? She kind of had the glow of what her former self was.
Yes.
It was much more lighthearted, bantery, fun. Like this is, I'm like, oh, this is the kind of romance I want to see.
Yeah.
And they weren't even being romantic necessarily all the time.
No, they're just spending time together and they like each other's company. Like they can just do whatever.
Each other as people.
Yeah, they do. And you know what? He's a romantic. Like people like discount, all they remember is him like whipping her, stepping on her back or torturing her. But like he took her to see the moon. He took her into the ocean. He's a romantic and he does things without having to say it. Like he's not like I need recognition that I did this for you. Like he'll do it for her because he cares about her. And so, okay, going back to whether you think why he likes her. So I think in the beginning, so first of all, I think it's because she does tell him she doesn't think he's a villain. She doesn't think he's a demon. She doesn't like look at him like he's a demon. Like she just treats him as sort of an equal, as a being, not regardless of what he really is. And I think because he was like this lost soul, like he's broken, but not the same way Tushan Jing is broken. Like his thing is more like identity crisis. Like he wants to be human, but he can never be human in that sense. Like not human, like immortal or whatever. So I feel like he segregates himself. Like he thinks of himself as different. And I mean, I don't understand.
He's very quick to anger when he thinks that somebody rejects him because of his inferiority as a human.
Yeah. So, and it's interesting because I feel like, why is it that the Tushan Jing clan, like the Tushan clan, like they came from foxes? I guess a fox is not a demon. I don't know. Like
they should be. Like that's what I'm saying.
Right?
It's weird, right?
Yeah. Like that's the root of your ancestry, and then he's a demon.
But they're not royalty. They are demons. I think they're just a rich family.
They're rich, and they became. Yeah, so it's kind of weird. Like I don't know in this type of world how you would define one as better than the other. It really
doesn't matter because as much as they try to say, oh, it's like I said, I don't treat this as Shenxia or even political drama, at least not season 1, because as much of a game as they talk up about, oh, Changxuan has to position himself by whoring himself out with every woman possible, right? To like get alliances made. I was like, but the show doesn't show any of that. It's like, don't these people have grand things they all have to do? Even Xiang Liu, right? I mean, they show him doing more like career stuff. Let's put it that way. Yeah. Everyone else is like, woe is me. who I love. Like,
I think that's true because that is who they are, right? If you're a princess, you really don't have anything happening other than sitting in your palace.
Maybe princess, but then she's like, oh, but I'm here. Like, why is she so important? They make her like seem like the most important thing ever by standing up for her cousin and helping him out when they need her. Like things just happen. Like it's like a giant like melodrama about like Bachelorette, right? With random sprinkles of politics and maneuvering that seems almost out of place, right? I was like, don't these people have better things to do? Does all grand plans hinge on marriage alliances and love? And who loves whom and who doesn't love whom and who's gonna, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
it doesn't make sense. It's the same thing that I had with Scarlet Heart. I was like, don't these like sons of emperors have better things to do? Like kill each other?
I mean, one would argue no. That's all they're doing to survive, right? I mean, okay. I will say though, sort of pivoting to the cousin, Changshen, I actually liked his character more as I watched because I was telling you, he grows on you because in the novel, I remember and I read the novel many years ago, but I remember he wasn't very memorable in the novel, and maybe because I didn't get to the parts.
But he's the male lead technically of the story,
so,
right?
Okay, so that was the interesting thing, right? So when I looked at the posters, because the posters tell you who's kind of leading, he's considered the male lead, and then how do you say Deng Wei.
Tushan Jing. Yeah,
Tushan Jing is the second, and then maybe Xiang Liu, like. But
Xiang
then
Liu or Feng Long, yeah.
Yes, they kind of flip. And then sometimes I feel like they treat Xiang Liu like guest star. Like he's not considered...
He's listed in the credits as a special guest star.
Oh, okay.
And his time is limited. But if you didn't know any better, I had to start when I was watching. I was like, if I didn't know any better, I would have said that Xiang Liu was the male lead of the story.
Yes. But in the novel, he doesn't appear that often. Like he does come and go. Because he's busy. He's busy doing things.
He appears more, right, in the show than the novel then? Or his presence is more obvious in the show? His
presence is more obvious. No, so I will say the scenes in the novel and the drama are very similar. Like the ocean dates, all of that, and hanging out in the trees, like that's actually all in the novel. I would say they make his presence kind of feel more sparse in the novel because she's usually surrounded by what's his name, Tushan Jing or the cousin. It's like those two guys are always in and out, like around her, and then once in a while Xiang Liu will appear. But when he appears, you're like really happy to see him. At least for me, when I read it, I was like, he's back, and then you're like, oh, it's been a few chapters, haven't seen him in a while. Because he takes her.
Like, honestly, that's how I felt by the middle of the show. Okay, I was like, where's my baby Xiang Liu? I need to see Xiang Liu.
Yeah, because I told you he takes her on these epic dates, and you're like, oh, he's such a romantic, right?
The dialogue is much more interesting when they're talking with each other versus the pedanticness of like her normal interactions when she's back to choosing which outfit to wear.
Yeah, I was even impressed. The poisons that she makes in the beginning, they just show her giving him like bottles and stuff. But in the novel, they do say she makes like these desserts that are poisonous.
But
and then there was like
desserts.
Yeah. But then like in the drama, they showed her making that jelly dessert with the fish, and I was like, oh, I'm so glad they did that because that was in the novel. It was very memorable, and I'm glad they did that. Anyways, but so I feel like so. He likes her, I think, because she sees him as an equal, and they Xiang Liu. Okay. Yeah, I think they like each other. He really likes her, and then I think as to why he wanted to give his heart to her, literally with the voodoo bugs, I think he just decided she was the one, and
he didn't know who she was when it happened. Mind you,
no, he had to agree to allow the bug. Yeah, he didn't know. He didn't know who she was.
He didn't know her real identity.
Yeah, he didn't know her real identity
because they're mortal enemies once that was revealed.
Yes, they're on different sides of the political strife. But but because that's, I feel like as a reader, that's where you saw the sincerity, right? Because they always said he has 9 heads.
She had no clue what the
she still didn't know. he has 9 heads and 1 heart, right? That was the whole thing they would say. And then like she didn't know that those bugs only can enter the person's body if the people are connected. And so it went
no,
it went
only
to
if they love each other.
yeah,
right?
if they love each other. And so it went to Changshan's body first because that's her cousin and they do
but
love
it
each
didn't
other.
stick. No, but it didn't stick.
She was able to lure it out and put it
Because
in.
he didn't know who she was yet, I think, right? When that happened. And the
Yeah.
first time she tried to, in the show, when she tried to put it, because she originally was going to put it in Xiang Liu, right? At that time, remember the bug wouldn't go into him? Because he didn't like her yet.
Yeah. Yeah. So I felt like when he decided he really loved her and he knows the reason. He knows the story behind the bugs. She doesn't know that they're love bugs. And so I think once he decided I'm gonna let her put the love bug in me because it went into his body, he knew it validated his own feelings and he just kept it to himself. He didn't tell her, oh, the reason it went into my body is this, right? He didn't. She just thought, oh, you're so great. You let me like, okay, I'll do whatever you she gave him one promise, which they don't. In season 1, that promise has not been shown yet.
But I think they're gonna use it soon. But I don't get though when that switch got flipped. Does that make sense? For him to suddenly like her, for the bug to be able to go into him. It just seems to suddenly happen. And let's just take that at face value, right? Like I really enjoy Xiang Liu as a character so much that I don't care. Because if there was no romance undertone between him and Xiao Yao, there would be no story for him. So therefore, in order for me to enjoy his character's existence in the story, I have to accept that he loves her, right? But I don't know is how can she not know he at least has very good feelings about her because he's done so many things for her. Now, I get that she doesn't know a lot of the things he's done, but she does know other things he's done. Yeah. Is she just in denial?
I think she's dense, honestly. Like
she's not dense with anyone else.
No, she is dense. She doesn't know her cousin loves her either. She only knows that
with the cousin, it's not as obvious. He actually
it's brotherly
keeps
love.
He keeps it in check very well.
Yes. Oh, going back to the cousin, I didn't finish my thought. Yeah, so he grew on me in the drama, and like I felt really bad for him because I know they can't be together, but I feel like the loss is not as bad.
I don't understand that one. Political?
Why can't they? Yeah, I think because she doesn't.
Oh, he has to marry everyone else, and he can't be her one and only. I forgot about that. He can't
be her one and only, and I don't think he would ever reveal to. Maybe he does later on, but I don't think he could reveal to her how he feels because I think he would be afraid to break what they already have, which is sort of this like life and death, we're in it together bond.
Yeah.
So, I feel like he has to put up these facade of just being her brother and not because he romantically loves her. But anyways, the actor, I think I didn't like him in the beginning either. He was very stone-faced, but I was like, oh, I actually appreciate it. The fake smile is part of the character. Like he doesn't show his true emotions, and he even says later on, like, I don't know how to react like naturally.
I like his fake smile. I love watching his facial expressions. Actually, all the male leads actually have some interesting facial expressions. I mean, there's some very comedic moments, right? Which the comedy is pretty funny when it happens. But even like Xiang Liu and his alter ego, right, have funny reactions sometimes, like unexpectedly. But I like watching Changshan, the actor too, Zhang Wanyi. In fact, I think he has another show coming up. I mentioned to you that I'm like, oh, I really want to watch that now. Like, he needs his own show. He does not need to be the so-called titular male lead in a show that he barely seems to matter in, to be honest. Maybe he'll matter more in season 2, because season 1 ended with him finally being able to kind of maneuver into place, right? But honestly, I don't see how he was the male lead of the story.
Well, story-wise, he does not have male lead like heft. I mean, he is important in the overall story arc, but he's not who you would naturally root for. And honestly, like, it's funny. I was telling you that I looked at some of the promotional stuff, and he's very serious in real life. Like, I don't think I saw one picture of like a real smile on him. And you told me he's actually considered a serious actor. So I think, like, it was interesting to watch him play the serious brother. But I do feel like I've grown to appreciate his acting, and I do want to see him in other things, just to see if the acting is gonna be different.
I will watch. So I came out of the show liking 3 more actors than I went in with. I obviously like Tan Jianci, which I didn't.
Yes.
I can before. You know, I didn't have any feelings about him. You actually liked him from something else, and I don't remember what was it. Love Me, Love My Voice that got you into him.
Yes.
And I was like, oh, he's that kind of doofus, not doofus. He's a kind of
You
an
said-
older guy.
You called him an uncle, not uncle,
He is
but like
uncle. Not my uncle. I'm his aunt because I'm a lot older than him. But you know, he's kind of uncle-ish by those Chinese idol standards. And I only knew him from Hello Saturday, where they do call him 大哥 as a nickname. So it almost cements his like uncle status.
Yeah.
He's like the senpai, you know, like the 前辈.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know, and he wasn't very famous. He hadn't acted for a long time, I think. He started in a Chinese boy band. Anyways, I digress. And then I watched this, and I think I texted him like, oh my god, how is it possible that Tan Jianci is so gorgeous in this show? Like, it's the white hair, it's the makeup, of course. You have to be able to carry that off. And it's not even that he naturally is such a good-looking guy, or he has no... I said, what did I say? I said, poor man has a lot of things working against him. He's not tall. He kind of has a stocky build, and he actually tends to put on weight. He's lost a lot of weight. I think he has to like control his eating a lot to do that. He is a good dancer, but he doesn't have... I think I said this to you. He doesn't have the lanky build that Wang Yibo has, where it flows so well. It's a different style of dancing, but he is a good dancer. All of that, and he's a good singer, and he speaks Cantonese, all of that. But I'm like, but altogether, he doesn't at first strike me as, oh, that's the package. But my God, as Xiang Liu, and then I've watched him kind of act in other things. I'm like, he has not screen presence. Screen presence would be like a Hollywood, golden age Hollywood star who's so gorgeous that they just ooze like sex or charm, right? You don't have to hear them say anything. For him, he actually has to act, I think. But when he does act, he has really good screen presence. Like, you are like, oh, he's really good. Like you just are in love with his whoever the character he is.
Yeah. Well, I told you he had charisma. Remember, I was like,
But
I watched
acting driven charisma. Like,
I know, but remember
charisma, I think.
Yes. No, but remember, I was like sending you like videos. I'm like, oh, I like his singing voice in the song, and then I like this song, and I really like this song. You're like, why are you sending me like this uncle? I'm like,
why am I being bombarded by random
I was like, okay, I know he's not like hot in the classical sense or the the trendy pop idol look, but there's something about him, like, and I even told you, like, in that drama that I was watching, like, he plays a very sweet, sugary character. There's like, it's not nuanced at all. So
I know. I started watching it now because I needed an antidote. Oh, so here's what when I was starting to watch Lost You Forever, even though I liked the first half, there was a feeling of heaviness. Even though they were still happy times. I don't know why. I don't know if it was something the show did or because I kind of knew where this was going.
Yeah.
There was a heavy pathos in my heart, and I was just like, sighing a lot. I'm like, I'm gonna get very sad watching this. And then I just got annoyed by the second half, and I was like, I need an antidote. My baby Xiang Liu is not on screen enough, and I know that his ending may not be the best, so I'm going to go watch something happier, even if it gives me diabetes.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you're on the TJC train now, because I was like by myself. I was by myself on this train. You're like, I don't see it.
Why
like, okay,
you're not alone on that train, okay? Have you looked at his followership? So
I feel like when I was on the train, nobody else was on. That's what I'm saying. Because I liked him before Lost You Forever came out. And I was like, okay.
No, Lost You Forever came out before I thought Love Me, Love My Voice.
I don't know. Did it?
Yeah, and he did that BL I told you that never got released.
Oh, yeah. Well, anyways, at least in, my tiny bubble of you and me, I was on the train by myself. And then you said you like two other guys.
Oh yeah, so I like Tan Jianci now, and I'm like, I told you right, it's dangerous to search for his stuff on like my red book Xiaohongshu because now it's just all Tan Jianci all the time. It's a flooded because there's so much like posts from other
Yeah.
people. The algorithm just feeds me Tan Jianci. I'm like, where's my Chen Xinxi and where's my Wang Xingyue, right? Like, where are they? They've been
They need
buried
their
by the yeah, they've been buried by the landslide of Tan Jianci. But I also really like Tang Xuan's actor, like I said. So I'm looking forward to this
yeah.
other show that's coming up. And then, and in fact, I think this was his first costume drama. So I'm glad that he's doing more costume. He looks really good in costume.
Yeah.
And then I actually really like not really, I shouldn't say really. I do have good feelings about Feng Long. He's nothing special, but there's something very sweet and cute about the guy. Maybe it's the character, but the actor carries it off, right?
Yeah. I feel like he's like the little kid brother that's just tagging along in the story. Like I feel like he doesn't have a heft that he's supposed to be a clan's leader soon, but he's so like.
Let me ask you this: would you date him in real life if you met someone like that?
I don't know.
You don't have to marry him; just date him.
Maybe. Okay. I don't know if he.
Would you date Tang Xuan?
Who would I have more fun with? I think Changsha is very boring. I don't.
Nobody said you have to be in a committed relationship. You just have to date them.
I mean, I wouldn't say no. I would, if he.
It's a very backhanded way of it. Oh, so he has to ask. So you're being a Xiao Yao in this. He has to make the first one. Would you date Xiang Liu?
I would date him. Mm-hmm. But that's a given.
Would you marry Xiang Liu?
I would, because I think he could give me safety and security. The thing that Xiao Yao is looking for, but doesn't trust that he could give her. But I think he could provide that.
Would you even go on one date that's very PG with Tushan Jing?
No. I'm saying no as he's like head of the clan, like not as as Shichi subtitle. Like yeah, not as subtitle. Like I feel like no, he's not my type. He's too he's dangerous boy.
To date. You know why? So I think Deng Wei's good looking, but I think you and I had an exchange where you said he has no charisma. Okay, I'm sorry, nothing against him. How he comes across. He's good looking in a very boring way. And I think you said at the time he's better off as like a still, like a model, like on paper.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think he's better as a model than an actor.
Right. I wouldn't. If he was still Yishi, I might have gone on a date. But then once I saw his true colors as this broken, needy pipsqueak, I was like, well, that's dangerous, man. You'll never get rid of the guy. Like, he'd be a stalker. And he was so manipulative.
Yeah.
He is very manipulative. I mean, that's the fox in him, I suppose.
I was saying to you that he, as much as Xiao Yao kept saying, like, he's a guarantee and he'll do whatever to be with me, he didn't do anything that he promised her, right?
He failed in everything.
Yeah.
Wait for me for 15 years and don't let another guy into your heart. Now, by the way, he must suspect that she likes Xiang Liu, because that's his real only other rival that he knew of. I don't think he knew that Tang Xuan liked her.
No, he didn't. I think he saw Xiang Liu as a rival, but when he was he was not as forthcoming. I think once he became Tushan Jing, then he was like, I have something to equal, if not better. Yeah, not better than what Xiang Liu can offer.
Yeah, but then he was soon disappointed again to find out that she's even higher status than I.
Yes. You know what? I was so disappointed too. Like, and the thing that people seem to harp on. Okay, there's a pivotal scene when she is there's an attempted assassination on her, right? And he's the first. Tushan Jing was the first to come to her rescue, and he puts whatever spirit power on her to protect her from. There's a fire around them, and then instead of taking her away to get help or something, and he
was gonna die with her.
Yeah, he was just like, I can't. Oh, she's dead, so I'm just gonna hold
useless.
her and die with her. And I'm like, what? You're God. You're not like a human. It was
Right,
so
like he's
infuriating.
useless. All he can do is mope and cry and be
Yes.
sad. And I guess some girls or maybe people in the Chinese culture think of that as devotion and it's admirable. I'd be like, no, that's uselessness.
I'm like, save me. Like,
Action orientation is
I don't
very
wanna be-
important.
I don't want to be
technically,
dead.
she is dead, and then he did nothing, right? He was just
Yeah,
like,
he
I'm
did
gonna die
nothing.
now.
He just
Yeah.
gave up. And then the two other guys were like, we need to keep her alive, right?
Yeah,
like
the two guys who were like action
who hate
oriented,
each
I'm like,
other,
thank God.
who would
Right.
kill each other, put aside their differences to save her.
Yes.
They were bigger
Very-
men. And then Tushan Jing was gonna die. Anyways, he was in a coma and he was committing suicide while in a coma.
You sound mad.
And then they had this life lamp, like, oh, the light is dimming. He's about to die, you know. And I'm like, really? Like, even in a coma, you're trying to off yourself. You cannot offer her anything if you can't protect yourself. How are you going to protect her?
Yeah.
So
and then of course he got himself tricked into, whatever. I was like, does it really take 15 years to break off an engagement? That seems a long time, even if it's not a long time in the blip, it's a blip in the immortal, lifespan. It's still 15 years,
Yeah.
But can I just go back? I still don't get how can Xiao Yao not know that Xiang Liu likes her at least a little. She saw him spend 37 years and a lot of suffering. She did see him suffer to heal her.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way. How does she not know he at least put something to action wise, right? He's never gonna say it. That is, if that's what she needs, the validation verbally, yes, I get that, right? But I don't think that means that she doesn't know he doesn't have any goodwill towards her.
I mean, look, honestly, I think it's a convenient thing for the author to put that in because my issue is like the fact that so she had a scene with the cousin when the cousin's like, oh, he made a deal, like I'll give him Chenrong Mountain in exchange for saving your life, right? By whatever means he can do to save you. So in her mind, she's like, oh, it's a deal. There's always something that he got out of it in order to do something nice for her. And so she just kind of kept that to herself. She doesn't even ask him. Like, she doesn't...
Well, she doesn't want to know. She wants a crutch to say that because she doesn't want to know the answer, I think, is the problem. She wants someone to be, like, so clingy and so in your face about their neediness of you, like Tushan Jing, right? It's like, I will swear my life on it, even though technically their actions don't reflect that.
Yes. And I mean, like, she was a doctor in a village. You would think she would know that sometimes what people say and what they do are very different, right? Like, patients are not always
personality
honest with you,
as we said.
Yeah, like the fact that she can't read between the lines. She's around people who all have political agendas. Like, how can you not understand? Like, maybe there's something he's not saying, but actions speak louder than words, and that is not in her brain at all. Like the fact that he spent all this time trying to save her.
She doesn't know he has nothing has feelings for her, because if she didn't, why would she think that she could try to flirt with him underwater in 37? Because she even said that. She said, oh, now that Tushan Jing is out of the picture, right, I don't have to wait for him anymore, because he got himself basically I don't know, compromised. She put out her face to get Xiang Liu to kiss her, right? You wouldn't do that unless you suspected the other person liked you. And then she played that trick in the same episode where she pretended to be hurt and he was like back in the flash.
Yeah.
You wouldn't again do that unless you knew that the guy was gonna come back for you very quickly.
Yeah. I feel like the author created a character. Okay, I've read things. I don't know if this is true. I read that the author's favorite character in the novel is Xiang Liu, and that she loves him the most. And that the title of the drama is actually named for him. Or the novel.
It's for Changshan.
Oh, I've read different rumors.
We need to talk about the novel.
Yeah, we can talk about it. But title aside, that her favorite character is Xiang Liu, but she made him a tragic figure. So I feel like you have to create a female character who is so dense to not see through it, or else you cannot have the tragic figure.
I don't
Did
get
you say?
and I need to stay the heck away from anything from her, to be honest. Although I think she wrote the screenplay for the next comedy with Jianci called Filter, so now I'm afraid.
Oh, I didn't know that. I think you told me, but I
Yeah.
forgot that was
Yeah.
Filter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I wanna
that
see
one. The trailer looks funny.
Yeah. Sorry, I digress. But that she's 2 for 2 now on annoying the heck out of me.
Well, there's still season 2, which apparently you said people hate, but I still want to check out season 2.
At least it's only 23 episodes, and I'm gonna have to watch it on speed dial. Not speed dial, 1.5 times or something. Or someone please give me a Xiang Liu cut only. I will just watch the Cliff Notes version of that.
Of how he of his miserable ending.
I will watch
Suppose it
versions of Tangshan and Xiang Liu and even Feng Long. I would just like to watch the show without Xiao Yao and Tushan Jing.
The main reason that people watch
there'll be no show. I know there'll be no show. So yeah. I feel that different way because I'm sure this gave him a lot of exposure, but I would not take a role like this because to me it's such a thankless role. I mean, maybe it's not thankless because there are people who love Tushan Jing and hate Xiang Liu, and I was like, really? Which planet are you from?
Yeah. Okay, so comments I've read is that people found Xiang Liu abusive, manipulative.
Manipulative. He's abusive, not manipulative. He's temperamental.
Well, he uses her. He has anger management issues. They call him red flags.
Not manipulative.
Right? I mean, that's what people say. So
they need to look up that.
And we could argue that Tushan Jing is manipulative in his own way, right?
He's insidiously manipulative.
I mean, he's very straightforwardly manipulative. He's like, wait for me. I know it's hard, but just don't fall in love with anyone else for the
next
next 15 years.
But he doesn't ever deliver, so wouldn't you say that's even worse manipulation? It's called lying.
Well, she fell for it because she couldn't really get over it, even after they broke up. Right?
She's an idiot.
She was still holding on. So, anyways, I would say going back to what young girls loving that puppy dog. I think the devotion, people just think that he can do no wrong because he's never physically hurt her, because he's never verbally abused her. I think people equate that to being a loving man versus someone who is physically. Because, Xiang Liu was physically aggressive in the beginning, especially when she was
But that was before they were together. Well, they were never together, but they were romantic. Yeah, she was a man. He thought she was a spy.
I give it a green light on this because this is not it's not like modern day. It's not modern day drama, right? Where like this guy's beating you up in your apartment to get something from you, right? This is fantasy, and
they're at war technically.
There are conflicts, right? They're on different sides, and this is not modern real day. So I feel like your barometer of what's acceptable in terms of what you see in a romantic partner is a little different here because it's just different. Everyone knows martial arts and everyone can heal each other with spiritual medicine or whatever, spiritual powers. So I feel people can grow from a plant to a human. So I think it's just different, and I think some people are viewing this in a modern day light kind of thing, where oh, I would never be with a guy like that.
Even if you're not with someone who is potentially abusive like Xiang Liu, you should not be with someone like Tushan Jing either.
Yes, I would agree.
Right? Just don't be with anyone. Be with Fenglong. Or be with yourself. Yeah,
be with someone who doesn't make you promise these things that are unfair to you. Because that was very unfair.
Deliver.
Yeah.
You can't deliver.
Yeah. It was
unfair. Who is just useless. He has nothing to offer from a human level other than verbal security. But that's all she knows. She just wants to hear it from someone because too many people have left her, right? She just wants to hear verbal reassurances. I'm like, but words mean nothing without actually follow through, successful action and follow through.
Yeah.
And ability. But the funny thing is, you know what? I have to give him this credit. So that's why I'm saying Xiao Yao may be the central problem with the story. But without her, there is no story. Which is when Tushan Jing is not with her, he's actually somewhat more capable. Have you do notice that, right? In the story?
I feel like he's I mean, okay, he's also kind of like a Superman, if you want to put it that way.
Except with her.
Yeah, except with her. But anything they need from him, he can get away. He can do, right? He can deliver
and he's like,
things.
oh, I can't anticipate this is gonna happen, so you better position yourself. And Oh, okay. So Tushan Jing is sort of, it's like hints of his former self, maybe. But then the minute you put him in the frame with her, I'm like, oh my god, they're the middle school kids again with one brain cell.
I feel like she's the one thing he can't buy with money. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
Like
it's not about the money. I just feel like
I don't think it's
he has a personality transplant around her.
I mean, he's also very desperate too. Like he's desperate for love, and it's weird because they live such long lives. Like, do they not think they would meet other people?
I don't know. They're pretty toxic for each other, to be honest. And yet they also are the two people who deserve each other most in the story. Even as much as I think they're bad news.
Yeah.
So the story that Xiao Yao tells, was it Xiang Liu, about when she was younger? It's like a fable. What do you make of that? The fable of how, not fable, the story how she befriended a snake who wanted to eat her. The snake got killed by a fox, a 9-tailed fox, mind you. So the same as Tushan Jing, who wanted to eat her because the snake wanted to protect her for himself.
Yes. Yes.
And then she killed the fox.
Yes. Do you think that's foreshadowing?
I don't think it's foreshadowing, but also oddly, she killed the fox.
Yes. I mean, so I don't know what happens.
And the fox meant ill towards her in that story.
I would say I mean, unless you know something, I don't think it's going to be directly like parallel to what happens to them.
No, I know how the story ends.
Yeah, I don't know. Huh?
I think it's symbolic, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so too.
Because that she's not necessarily ending up with the best choice.
Yes. I agree. Because the fox, even in the beginning, like, even Changshen, like, he got upset, remember? Because he had the tail of that same fox in his possession, and he was gonna just throw it away.
No, it wasn't the same fox.
It was the fox that had her. It was the same fox. It then? No, so they said that fox, it was a 9-tailed fox, and one of his tails got cut off. And it was given by, I think, her mother to Xiao Yao. And then she always had it, but she gave it to Changshen for safekeeping. And then, like, when he was sent away, right, as a political prisoner. So, like, she's like, oh, when you come back, you can give it back to me. So it was the only thing he had of hers. I don't think
it's the same fox who tried to kill her.
It's the same one. She said that the fox...
How's that possible? Because she met the fox before she got lost. Like, after she got lost.
Yes. So that fox is still alive. And he didn't know she was the one that has his tail. Fox. No, the fox that imprisoned her for 30 years is the fox whose tail got cut off. That's why Changshen, when he heard it, he was gonna get rid of it. He was so angry. She's like, no, it's a fox with thousands of years of spirit. You have to, I'll do something else with it. And then she made it into that puppet thing. Remember, she made a doll.
So the fox was still alive when the tail got cut off.
Yes.
And then she met the same fox again later when she got lost, and he tried to imprison her and kill her, and she killed him then. Okay, got it.
Yes. Anyways. It was like coincidental because that's when Changshan is like, oh, that's the same guy, so he was gonna throw away the tail. She's like, no, we'll reuse it for something, and then she made it into that thing where he can make puppets of people.
So, what was the significance of the Changshan's reaction to the foxtail? You were gonna say?
Oh, I was. Oh my god, I don't remember. I mean, I think the fact that he like used that, it was like some. To him, it was symbolic of their relationship, and then he realized how disgusting it was. So he had no use for it. But, like, he doesn't equate that to the clan, the Tushan Jing clan. Like, he still thinks of them as, like, allies. And so I think it's interesting that she doesn't equate that either. She doesn't, like, think all 9-tailed foxes are evil. Like, they could be brethren, for all I know. But if you talk about the story, like, do they represent the same clan or the same, No,
I don't think it's meant to represent the same clan, but I do think it's meant to be some form of weird foreshadowing of life choices and themes repeating itself.
Yeah.
In which case, right, Xiang Liu actually does fit the bill of the snake, who is initially bears ill will, but she still goes and befriends him because she's so lonely, which is her in the village, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he does protect her, whether she knows it or not is a whole nother matter. And it's really out of love, not so much out of his desire to eat her. Well, he
Yeah.
does like to eat her too, but you know what I mean. Anyways, so that was interesting. I thought that was interesting. The other thing I want to talk about very quickly, we already sort of touched upon, was the significance of the title. They're very two different titles in some ways, I said earlier. The Chinese version, Everlasting Longing, right? Or Forever
Mm-hmm.
Longing, long-lasting, I don't know, desire, whatever you want to call it,
Mm-hmm.
versus the English version, which is Lost You Forever. What do you think of that?
Well, okay. Like I said, I read that the title is really for Xiang Liu, but you're saying it's for
Changshan, because he
yeah,
lost her.
Changshan.
He's always gonna want her, but he can't have her.
And
He did
if
a
he's the
lot.
real if he's the real male lead, then that makes
Mhm.
sense. Um
But what did you read about Xiang Liu?
that
mean,
he's
it can apply to her longing for him, really, too. The
yes,
Chinese title.
because spoiler, he dies. So
Well, that
I
he's
think
the one she never really got with, that she actually, I think, liked. Right?
yes.
You can never say that it's about Tushan Jing.
No.
Because they
Tushan
don't have
Jing-
that secret longing. It's like, yeah, I mean, you could say she waited for him to become available, but it was never a doubt that
Yeah.
he was gonna try to make himself as available as possible. And she didn't seem to
Yeah.
long for him, to be honest.
I mean, and it's weird because I was just thinking about this as we were talking about the snake and the fox. Like, in her interactions with Xiang Liu, I don't feel like she ever looked for him on her own, other than when she needed a favor from him. And it was kind of like every time she showed up, he's like, "What do you want?" You know, kind of that kind of interaction. And every time, it's almost like he would seek her out and take her out to like cheer her up or distract her. Or, I don't know if she longed for him like the way you would like her to long for him, like, you know, like the one that got away kind of feeling. So I don't know.
Well, it
It's kind
depends on whether she likes him or not. But I
Yeah.
think we agree that she does like him.
Yeah, but she's not entertaining the idea of ever making it happen. So is it? Oh,
What's
it's like saying you have a crush on someone, but you're like, but I'm not gonna open that can of worms. You know, like it's okay to crush
like
from
what she said on the
afar.
beach to him on episode 19, which I thought was such a hurtful thing to say. And his reaction was actually very poignant. You know what I'm talking about when she says,
Yeah.
we can't have you entering my dreams.
You'd be a nightmare. She said you'd be a nightmare.
Right, but she didn't mean it that way, right? What she means is,
No.
I'm afraid of falling for you, basically.
Yes.
It would be a
That's
disaster.
That's how I read it too. Like, she's afraid of all the repercussions that come with it. But he took it on a personal
As a
level
rejection of him.
Yes. Like, and not of what he represents, which is the Chenrong army. Like, you know, like
he's the enemy.
She even said, like, maybe you should give that up. Like, and I think had he given that up, she could have entered into the idea of it. But because she knew that that was his number one priority, and she was never going to try to change his priority. Like, that, I mean, I guess I can respect that about her, right? She was not, she might be cold and heartless, but she wasn't, like, manipulative to the point of, like, if you do this for me, then I'll you know, let you love me or whatever.
Right.
Like, she's not that.
No, I don't think she's manipulative. I only think Tushan Jing is manipulative.
Yeah,
I think she is just cold and not capable of real love.
Yeah. I mean,
or letting herself love in that way.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, even
she's not one to follow her heart. Let me put it that way.
Yeah. I mean, by the end of season 1, she was like, "I'll marry anyone." Remember?
She's like, I was actually like, you know, honestly, if it ended here, I would have been okay, because she and Fenglong are pretty okay as a couple, right? Like, he's such a sweetie. He's
like, she's like,
why do you want to marry me?
Because
you're a good drinking buddy, you're cool, and
who could just hang out.
And he's very direct, right? He's transparent with her. He's like, of course, it's political considerations too, but he's not like his sister. He's not hesitant about it.
Oh, his sister lost out, man.
She bothers me though. I mean,
no, I know. I didn't like her
Her
either.
reasons are valid, but the way the actress looks, unfortunately, just bothers me. I'm like, what's wrong with her mouth?
Like I said, this brother-sister pair did not appear in the novel for me, so I'll have to read and see if they appear and if they're really like that in the novel. But I felt like when I was watching her, okay, if I feel like had it been a different actress, I actually would have found her character very interesting because she's not like a Xiao Yao, like love is all like in the beginning.
She's a calculating woman you would expect to be from that nobility class.
Yes. Yeah. And the more they revealed, like the fact that she was hostage and with her mom in the one of the towns, cities or countries or whatever. But like I felt like her character was actually pretty interesting because she's deeper than she appeared. Because when you first see her, she came off almost as bad as the Nian, the princess, the younger
except
sister.
Onion became like more lovable.
Yes. They all became better except for the main female lead.
Yes, she got worse.
Yeah, but like they all kind of came off like prissy, like privileged and very like spoiled, right? Like they're just these spoiled princesses, and that's how you kind of view them in the beginning. And then the more they reveal, the more you're like, oh. And the fact that she wasn't willing, even though she loved Changshan, like she was like, I'm still not willing to bet on him, which was kind of interesting. And the fact that she wasn't like a Xiao Yao, like I'll marry you as long as we love each other. That's all that matters. She's like, no, there's more to it. Like there's more. I can't just marry for love. Like I have things, happening in my family that I need to. I mean, her reasoning is actually similar if you want to view it as a Tushan Jing, where you have these affiliations and loyalties to your family and your clan, and you can't just do whatever you want.
Oh, Tushan Jing's grandma is so annoying. She died too soon, though.
Oh, yeah. The death scene was so abrupt. It's like 1 minute she names the great-grandchild, and then she's gone.
Well, abruptness, actually, we forgot to talk about this. You mentioned this before, pacing.
Yeah, like there was one episode where like they they just plopped everything in like a 5-minute span. We didn't mention Tushan Jing had a fiance that they want him to marry, and that was one of the biggest reasons that Xiao Yao couldn't be with him. And so then she goes, yeah, you can, we don't have to. He's been trying to break off this engagement for 30 episodes, and she's like, okay, I'm okay. And then the next scene, she tried to commit suicide. She tried to kill herself.
So
and
that's what you meant the pacing. I feel
like
they gloss over like important developments, and then it's like, let me go back to choosing my closet full of clothes and which one to wear today. Like, let's make that as slow as possible. I'm like, really?
Well, okay, like even in the novel, she's not a very likable character. So I feel like the actress did her job, but like
I'm not blaming the actress. I'm blaming the production and the story.
Yes.
It's not the production, it's the story. Then it's not author's fault then. Yeah. So then you think the pacing is a reflection of the pacing of the story?
I think they spent too much time. I think I told you this offline. They spent way too many scenes playing where the characters are just staring at each other, and then there's music playing in the background. And it happened so many times. I found myself fast forwarding.
Don't forget, Tushan Jing has to cry a lot for no apparent reason.
I know.
Oh no!
I know.
Not again.
And he cries very beautifully. Very.
Does he?
Like, he does a good job with the crying. Like, droplets are coming down. Like it's not like a lot of eye drops.
I'm just being mean. Being mean now. Yeah. Okay. Look, yeah.
No, but I was saying, like, I think they spent too much time trying to make you believe in the romance of some of these characters. And then I think they realized, we gotta, like, wrap up. So the suicide, right? Because that's, I mean, if you actually want to play that out, that scene should have played out a little longer than literally scene 1. Okay, it's okay if we break up. Scene 2, the grandmother's like, she tried to suicide. You go and be with her. And then, the Daming Hall, like, when it collapsed. I was telling you. I was like, wow, that collapsed.
Yeah, go ahead.
I said collapse faster than when the Legos collapse. Like, it went boom. Like,
Legos.
it was like a what?
Well, the CGI is horrible in this show.
The cutest CGI were those little mythical creatures, like the little fox.
Yes.
I love his little fox. Yeah, the bird. Yeah, those are cute. But like, yeah, so pacing wise, I think they could have spent less time on those playing the music and the glancing. Like literally she's sitting on a swing and Changshan's just staring at her swinging, and then this music plays for 5 minutes and you're like, I don't need a scene of her swinging for 5 minutes. Like, with the red trees everywhere. I know he loves her. I don't need to see him staring at her like kind of like a creep. And then
at least it's Changshan and not Tushan Jing doing it, okay?
Actually, they do.
That reminds me of one more thing. Tushan Jing, sorry. There was in episode 39, so the final episode where she has a heart-to-heart with Changshan about how she's really sad about Tushan Jing or not. But she's like, oh, I would be really upset if he didn't. He got over me really quickly. And Changshan said, oh, then that means it's true love. I'm like, really? I would say the opposite, right? Because that's an ego thing then. It's a, how dare you get over me so quickly?
Yes, I think so too. I don't agree with that scene.
Yeah. I don't know if that's in the book. You'll have to tell me if you get to there. Because I was like, oh, the definition of love is very warped in this book already, or a show. This is how they would interpret it as true love. Like, oh, 你动心了. I'm like,
No, I think I agree with you. I think there's ego and pride built into it, meaning like if he got over her quickly, then it wasn't love. But she was happy. She was basically happy to see him suffer. That's what she's basically saying. Like he was sad, therefore that I'm happy that he's not like, oh, where everything's fine and dandy.
Like I could come up with a whole theory where it's more like she's betting her horse on to she's so set on him because she has to be for her own ego's sake, because he's the one who says he loves her, and she said that he's the only one who's going to be ever loyal to me. She has to see it through. She needs to almost give him as much rope as possible, not to hang himself, but to succeed, so that she can say, yes, he really does love me, and look, he's now proved it. That's why every time he fails and fails to come through for her, she's gonna give him another chance. She's basically like, please succeed. Oh, this time didn't happen, next time. To me, that's not love, right? That's me. Like, I don't want to face the reality that actually he doesn't really. He's not capable of loving me the way I want him to.
But I feel like if she was, honestly, like. And this is in agreeing with you, right? Like if I were her, and I even though I was heartbroken, and okay, there's two layers. I'm backtracking. There's two layers happening. First of all, the reason he can't be with her is because the grandmother, drugged him, and he had a quote unquote one night stand with a fiance, and she got pregnant and had a baby, and so he had to marry her. So like on one hand, like. Yes, you can be upset, but like I felt like she was mad at him for the wrong reasons, because she broke up with him right away, right? She's like, oh, you basically were with another woman. Not like compassion as to like you were tricked and drugged by your own grandmother and basically forced into this situation. Like there was no empathy or compassion to him being like
she's not a very empathetic person though.
Right. There's one layer that I was like very like, oh, I feel really bad for him. That was the only time where I was like, she does not love him, because that is not a normal reaction of someone who, if you cared about him, you'd be like, oh my god, yeah, like, oh my god, you got tricked, not, oh, you impregnated another woman. But so that's one. And then the second thing is when after he had the baby and everything, and he had to get married, like for the fact that she wants him to continue to feel sad instead of saying, you know what, you were tricked, I feel bad for you, like try to live your life the best.
This.
Yeah, right. Like try to live your life the best you can. Because everyone believes that the fiance loves him. No one knows that she secretly hates him. Yeah. So like like a compassionate response would have been, you know what? He's with someone who loves him. I hope he can love her. They're gonna have a family now. Like none of that. It's all about, oh, he's good. He's still sad. I'm so glad to see his sad face.
Yeah, she's a spiteful bitch.
Like the more I'm saying this, I feel anger. What it's coming from?
That's what I'm saying. How do we like watch season 2 now, knowing that we actually can't stand the female lead and her chosen one, but especially the female lead. If now that we've overanalyzed this and go, she really is the root of all issues.
Yes, I don't know. Go back to being a doctor,
her. Right? Yeah. If she went back to being a doctor, fine. That's great, because I like the first 20 episodes, or 15 to 20. But my God, I don't know how I'm going to get through season 2. I mean, we're going to watch season 2, right?
I'm going to watch it.
And if we have to give one of our heads, we don't have 9 to give, but...
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna finish reading the novel. I still want to know how it unfolds, and I mean, okay,
I
if you
don't
want
know
to look at
the author. I don't know
production
what's wrong with her.
wise, yeah, I mean
Maybe
production
for
wise, it
someone
is.
else, like oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say production wise, it's a very beautiful. Actually, I know you said the stills looked, the color was off, but when I
No, I
watched it,
don't
it was
like
very
it.
beautifully. I thought when I watched it visually, it was very pretty, and they built. I guess a lot of the sets are original to the show, and they actually had to tear them down after filming. So like the Qingshui village and all that, because it's a very specific visual style. So I think they put a lot of. You can tell the sets were very detailed, like
Nice,
down
but
to
the
like.
other stuff, I was like, nah, it's okay. It's the same old.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the
The
costume
palace
was
stuff
fine,
looks.
except for her makeup, which was like we talked about, like, wow, could they not have done a better job? Like, Anya looks great. She does not, in my mind. I'm sure other people will pelt us with lots of stones for saying such things, but it's our opinion, right? Like, it's not like anything personal against Yangtze. It's just like they could make her look good. She looked actually great as the man. What happened, right? As a woman. I mean, they
Yeah.
made Xiang Liu look good too, which I was like, oh. But
Oh, I have to comment. Like, so in the novel they say his hair's white, but his hair's not really white. White. It's like a
silver.
gray, silver.
Uh,
Yeah, and I think they did a really good job because remember it was that Dylan Wang drama where he had white
Meet the
hair,
Dragon.
and then people called him an albino, like because he
Yeah.
was because the coloring was off, right? Like
Yes.
the
Yes.
hair and makeup did not complement him. So I think in this they definitely did something to make
Well,
him look
the two
really.
strands, the two what do you call it? Oh
Yeah,
my god, bangs help, right?
yeah,
Frame his
yeah,
face. Because Chanjianzi
yeah,
does not have a very narrow face, actually. He has a pretty
yeah,
wide face. But
yeah.
it's his eyes too, the mask and the icon. Like when he first appears for the first time, Xiao Yao's like, oh, he's so beautiful. And she says it a few times, mind you. So she finds him very attractive, right? At least
Yeah.
physically.
Mm-hmm. She
And I
even
was like,
tells him, didn't she say like look in the mirror?
yeah,
Like
yeah, she's like, you don't need to look at me. I'm not as the most interesting thing to look at, right? Look at yourself. Like you're so good
yeah,
looking.
yeah,
Which,
yeah. And she
I'm
doesn't say that for the other men. Like she
no,
never
no.
compliments the other men.
But none of the other men are ugly, for God's sakes.
I
They're
mean,
all
like
good looking men.
yeah, Tushan Jing is supposed to be very handsome. That's how he's defined in the novel. Like he's supposed to be
He,
very, very good looking.
yeah, he's probably good looking. I just see the adjective boring, unfortunately, instead. So he looks
but,
boring.
but and yeah, lack of charisma.
Oh, we're
Um,
gonna end, right? Oh, but can I just let's end on a more positive note, at least for me, which is speaking of Xiang Liu looking good. Can I just say again? I wish they had more fight scenes with him. He fights; it's very beautiful. Like, cause
oh yeah.
Jianci said he didn't do martial arts training for this. He just like did more like dancing kind of style because he's a
Mm-hmm.
dancer. And the
Mm-hmm.
way Xiang Liu fights, did you right? It's
Yeah.
very
It's
graceful. It's not.
very it's
It's a flow. Like he's
theatrical.
like yeah, he's like a wind coming through. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
blowing through and slicing through.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, all right. I said my
Yeah.
piece.
Yeah. I will end on you texted me about the yogurt ads. It's like
Oh my
you
god.
know I was like,
Hey.
wow.
Oh, because
I was
you
like,
were
how
not
much
watching the same edition as me.
no, yeah. But they do pop up. I saw all of them eventually.
Mm-hmm.
I so it's funny because the four male leads are all in this blueberry yogurt ads.
Sorry.
I'm like
It's my
and
favorite flavor, blueberry yogurt.
see, I don't like blueberry, but I read someone commented in
What?
one of the episodes. Yeah, I don't like blueberry. But
Oh.
someone's like, "Oh, yes, Shannon wants me to drink blueberry yogurt. I will do that." Like
Actually, did
when
you notice that I think of all four, for four of them, three of them were in costume, but Xiang Liu was not. Tan Jianci was not. Were
uh
there others that were
no
not in
no
costume?
no was it Deng
Xiang Wei
Wei?
wasn't.
Deng Wei was in costume
Yeah.
and
Feng Long was in
Feng
costume.
in costume.
Yeah.
Uh
Chang Xuan.
Chang Shen was not in costume.
Oh, so Chang
And
Xuan and Xiang Liu were not in
they
costume.
were not in costume. They did not have the hair. They had their own hair. They were not in
Interesting.
costume. Yeah, and I think and the I timed it. I think some of them were like Feng was like a 12-second ad versus the other guys only had 9 seconds. So I don't know if he was like cheaper.
You timed.
Well, because I captured. I'm gonna share the ads so people can see. But I timed it, and I'm
You're
like,
gonna encourage more
interesting.
consumption of blueberry yogurts.
Well, if you go
I mean,
to
it's not
China,
available
you
in the US, but honestly, if
Yeah.
it was, I'd probably go try it and be like, oh,
maybe one of those Asian grocery stores will
markets?
carry it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wonder if
and
it's a
actually-
special promotion.
But it's funny. I don't know if you paid attention. Like they keep saying, like, "Oh, Xiao Yao would love this drink." Like I'm gonna send her some.
Yes,
And
they did say that.
And I see her in her ad. She had 2 ads that I saw. Did you notice her ad?
She wasn't doing a yogurt ad. She was doing
No,
like
it
a
was-
noodle ad.
She had a
I think
noodle
it was
ad
a noodle ad.
and a Kotex female.
Kotex.
Yeah, like a female pad.
Like feminine pad.
Yeah.
So it had no story context.
No, and she was not in costume with the way that these men. I mean, like even though the 2 guys were not in costume, they were still on set. Like they were on the set of.
They were still
Lost
in
You Forever.
character. Yeah,
they were in
still
character. Yeah. So I was like, oh, that's interesting that they couldn't get her. Like, I wonder if she was too expensive to. Because because I look at a lot of stills. The yogurt ad always comes up first, even when they show the whole panel
Which
of
is the primary
of products
sponsor or something.
Yeah, it's the primary because they also get the art with the little cute mythical creatures, and the other products don't get that special treatment.
Well, I
Yeah,
think
I know.
the 4 men are less famous than Yangtze, at least at the start. Now I'm not.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they are still less famous, but honestly, I watched the show for the guys, not Yangtze, because she has not only reinforced. It's not her fault per se, but the role she has, I've seen her in reinforces the image I have of her. She picks really like draggy, long melodramas about her, where she's not even that great of a character.
Yeah, like she's
Right?
not worth dying for.
Even in Ashes of Love, she was likable, but at some point she got tricked, right? And she was heartless, remember? And she killed Fenglong.
Well, she was mentally under a spell too. She wasn't herself, remember?
Right. She was, yeah. But, it's not like fully sympathetic. She did do some pretty bad things. Now, albeit, I'm not sure why he couldn't forgive her, other than, of course, she killed him and, stabbed him in the back on their wedding day. But still, anyways, I know you must think I don't like Ashes of Love. I do. It's just too freaking long and draggy. And this is how I feel about Lost You Forever. I don't hate the show. I just wish it was different.
Do you wish a different actress was cast? Because I feel like this could have been done. I think a different actress could have delivered a different, like a more nuanced
Probably
performance.
someone like Anya maybe could have done it.
Who?
Someone like her cousin Anya, the one you didn't like at first.
Yeah.
Someone like that kind of may come off differently, and I do wonder if like some of the direction and production choices would be different because Yangtze is very like Yangtze. You know what I mean? Like it's her. It's like it's like saying you see Meryl Streep, and I'm not saying Yangtze is anything like Meryl Streep. It's Meryl Streep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like
So,
the actress, yeah. Like she didn't like fall into the characters. What you're saying? Like you're watching the actress versus the character.
Yeah, all eyes must be on her now, and I'm like, I wonder how much production pivots to that because it's her. It's like a big IP about her.
Is she really big? I don't know the trend.
Yes.
Is she like huge? Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Well, I think blueberry yogurt aside, we will continue with season 2. I wonder if they still have the same yogurt ads in season 2.
Oh my god, I think we have the longest pod now ever because Lost You Forever is so long-winded that we've become extra long-winded.
Okay, I don't know who's still listening at this point, but
nobody.
If you are, thank you. Thank you so much.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, in that case, we'll wrap it up and on to the next drama.
All right. I gotta go recover now.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.